Good morning. I'm a little late this morning. I was supposed to be here at 4 a.m. It is now 6 a.m. I did not wake up on time. But that is the beauty of this Farm HQ system and why I really like it and wanted it. It shut the pump off for me as soon as the Traveler got done and stopped itself, because it's all the way reeled in here, which it is. So that it would not sit here and pump water for 2 hours until I realized my mistake and got up here, and that is awesome. So let's get it moved and get it back up and running. We lost 2 hours of runtime. That's about it. No big deal. We got water flying. Start this side of it up. All right, let's start this over again. Good morning. It's not 6 a.m. anymore. I went home and got a little more sleep. Some cool stuff today. So for those of you that have bought stuff from my farm focused store there, shirts, hat, hoodies, thank you, appreciate that. Another thing that we have had for sale are these stickers, and I had asked them about stickers and stuff, and then they just kind of put them up there, and they're these square cutout ones that, I mean, they're nice, but they're kind of bland, and I didn't like the square cutout that much. Well, without me even saying anything, they fixed them and got these cut out really nice. I like these a whole lot more. So these are also available from farmfocus.com if you want them. I got all of the old ones, so I don't know what I'm going to do with all these, but we're going to have Border View Farm stickers and put them on all our equipment or something, I guess. And they sent me some of the farm focused ones, so thanks to those guys. They've been super great to work with, and I appreciate that. So the other thing is I got my new Farm HQ boxes with these external cellular antennas, little magnetic mount, so we can find somewhere to put those on the stuff to get better cell signal. So that'll be good. I'm going to wait to install these until I get my relay. The system that we have on there now is working mostly, and rather than just changing one, I do not want to put the one on the pump until I have that relay, just because I don't want any chances of breaking anything, right? Even though I haven't broken the other one, I just would like to be a little careful with it. And they're paired together so that it sends the signals back and forth and stuff. So we're just going to change them both at the same time, and I'm going to wait until I get that relay in there. So I've got to get fuel up to the generator this morning. I also need to take some gas for the Traveler motor. I'm going to get those things around, take them up there. The boys are here. I'll take them with me. And then the rest of the day is probably going to be boring, putting up signs, and I might go pick up some more boxes from one more customer that I've got to get stuff from. So I think we're going to find a corn plant today and dissect it. This is an exciting one, at least for me. I like this stuff. Well, we're getting our fuel. Our tender trailer here is about empty, so I'm going to pump the rest of it on there so we can take it home. We should have one more load on the semi-trailer back at home, and this will cover the field fully the second time, so it should be okay. Well, we took the gas down to the trailer, got the fuel put in the generator, and we should probably stop and grab a corn plant. If we're going to do this whole let's dissect a corn plant thing, we're going to need a corn plant to dissect. So let's find a good one.
Yeah, why does
these are tall.
Path in this field?
So I can pull the irrigation stuff down. That's why there's a path in this field. All right, you guys stay here. I got to grab a corn plant. All right, which one do we want? If I had a shovel, I would dig it out with a shovel, but I don't have a shovel, so we're going to take that one. Well, I got a fair bit of roots. We broke most of them off. This hybrid is a very, very strong, deep-rooted hybrid, so that's good. Hey, what are you doing? You took the top of my corn?
I want it.
Why?
Corn. Now we can stick it out on the road.
What are you gonna do with it?
We need it.
I got one in the back. I got one in the back. We're gonna go take it apart and I'll show you all the pieces in it. I think we can find a tassel inside of it. Why do you need one? Ryland's not supposed to have one either, and he has to drop it before we get to the road, so don't worry about it. All right, so we've got a big corn plant here. We've got some dirt on the roots. I'm going to attempt to wash these off a little bit, and then we'll take it inside the seed warehouse here, and we'll start ripping it apart leaf by leaf. Okay, here is our corn plant. I washed the roots off as best I could, and we're going to start there because that's where you start. You can see we've got a lot of these penetrating roots, we call them. So corn is a fibrous root system, but there are different types. There's a penetrating, and then I'm trying to think what the other style is called, fibrous, or I don't know. Then there's a modified that's kind of half and half. But essentially, if you get a lot of root mass up in the top 2 to 3 inches of soil, you've got one type of a root system. If you've got more of these ones running down, you got more penetrating. There's good and bad of both. In certain situations, one type is better than the other, but generally the bigger the root mass, the better able it is to not only support that stalk and keep it standing upright, but to bring nutrients and water into that plant. Now you'll notice that we've got a lot of these going deeper. That's partly genetics. It's partly the dry weather. It's forcing those roots to chase moisture down deep, but we've also got a ton of nice little fibrous roots way up here at the surface, and that's from our irrigation water. It's finding all of that water that we have just been putting on the last couple of weeks. So if I was really, really good with the hose and washing this out, we would have been able to find the seed in there. I did not find it. I think I washed it off with some of the dirt, but I believe that it was right here.
Daddy, where did you get the seed?
And so this root right here was our initial shoot heading towards the surface. These are what I believe they call the seminal roots that came out of the seed, and then we begin nodal roots once we get up towards the crown there. And then all of these are nodal roots, or sometimes we call them brace roots once they're through the surface. And you'll see they grow right through the leaves. They come out of the same place where the bottom leaves were growing. Here's the next set starting to grow. I'm sure when we start tearing into here, you'll see some up in these next couple of nodes at least. So you'll also note this plant has 2 suckers on it. Pretty good sized one here. I mean, that's long. So there's a lot to that. We're going to try and growth stage this, but it's going to be pretty hard to do because I have no idea where my bottom leaf was. Actually, it was probably this one. Maybe. We might be able to do that. So just judging by leaves, if we can count this one as 1, which I just tore off, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12 leaf collars. We could call this a V12 corn, potentially. There's another way we can try and check that. We'll do it as we tear it apart. But we're going to start dissecting this leaf by leaf. First thing we're going to do is get rid of these suckers because while they are attached to the corn plant here, they're attached clear at the bottom at the roots. And when this main stalk starts needing extra water and nutrients, it'll start robbing from these and pulling the moisture out of them.
Do you have a little battery there?
So there's our suckers that we pulled off, and now we're going to start pulling leaves off here. I'm not going to film every one of them, but I will show you when I get to certain things. I am doing a time lapse up there. When I get done with my talk through here, I'll show you the time lapse of this whole thing here, is so you'll be able to see it. But anyway, let's start tearing it apart. We're going to try and keep it nice and neatly and organized so that we can see it, what it looks like, or where everything goes. All right, so we've got a few leaves taken off the bottom. I do think this is the very first leaf that came out of the ground. That's impressive to even be able to find that. But so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 taken off so far. You'll notice those nodal roots I talked about that were growing out through the bottom here. There is another set starting to form up here. There's even another set forming way up here. But here's another interesting thing that we've got. You see this right here? That is actually an ear, believe it or not, starting to develop. And there's one right here. There's even one way down here. Now those ears are never gonna make it. We want really one good ear. Occasionally we'll get two on a corn plant, but it actually starts producing probably 10, 8, I don't know, we'll count them on this one. I mean, the first one I see is right here. I don't think there was one on this next set down, so we'll count them, but we're gonna keep going. Another thing that I wanted to note is that every one of these leaves, they start at these nodes, but they're wrapped the opposite direction. So like this one here is gonna unwrap kind of in a counterclockwise motion from looking at it from the bottom up. The next one will unwrap in a clockwise rotation. Okay, we're working our way up the plant. I'm trying to leave the leaves kind of by the node where I took them off. You'll notice we're still getting ears here. Here's another one, here's one, here's one, there's one. They're getting much bigger as we get up the plant farther. And the stalk is getting thinner in diameter, as you would expect. It's getting much more pliable and flexible and easier to break, so we're trying to be careful. Okay, we're getting closer here. So our nodes are very, very short and close together now. This is where that plant is still growing. All these nodes are going to continue to elongate, making the plant taller. These leaves get more developed. They keep unrolling. These top ones here, I'm trying to remember which one. This one here maybe was the top one. The leaf collar here was emerged and actually showing. I don't think this one was quite yet. So these are still leaves that are yet to be really unfolded or unfurled, unrolled, and yeah, so inside here we're getting very, very close to the tassel. I don't know, probably 2 more leaves. Let's find out. We found it. Okay, let me do a little organizing. This is why GoPros suck. I just filmed all of this with this camera, and now it says there's an SD card or error, and the only way to fix it is to format it and lose all your data, and I'm ticked. So we're gonna pause this. We're gonna go down and try and get my data off of this card before we do anything else. GoPros. Phew. Well, it appears the only file I actually lost is the last one. I can redo that. At least I didn't miss all the stuff with me tearing apart. All right, let's try this again. There we go. So there's our exploded corn plant. You got a sucker on one side, sucker on another side, and then the main stalk that I've pulled all the leaves off of. We've got good root system here. You can see we've got the bottom leaves that are pretty close together, and they get spaced farther and farther apart as the node spacing gets farther apart. And then up at the top, they're still all really close together, and that is a function of it just isn't done growing yet. It's still getting taller. You can see all the white, green, even whitish leaf tissue up there. That is just new, undeveloped leaf tissue. It's not getting any sunlight, so it's not producing chlorophyll, doing any photosynthesis yet, but as it continues to grow and extends those leaves out the top, they'll turn dark green just like the rest of it. We've got the tassel there. That's going to be shooting out here in just a couple of weeks, I would assume. And then the other part that we've got to look at yet is ears. All right, so let's count them. So the top ear is right here. This is the one we are going to harvest. This one here is the second one. It's maybe we're going to harvest this one. We'll see. That also makes this the ear leaf and the most important leaf on the plant, because that's the one that feeds the ear the most. So that's the one that needs to get protected. All right, but let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there was actually 8 ears that started to develop, and you've got what? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe this one here, 5, that have some size to them. These 3 on the bottom never got very big, but they're there. You'll never see any of these. It's occasionally you'll see silks from 3 ears on a plant, but The rest of them almost never, ever make it out. So we're going to pull this one here off, the very top one, see if we can peel the husks back and find the actual cob and the ear in there, because you should be able to see some kernels by now, or at least the start of some kernels. Right there it is. I don't know how well, let's see if I can put this down and maybe focus in on it a little better. I don't know how well you'll be able to see. Yeah. It's there. Those little kernel rows are there, but they're little. Let's see if I can get my phone to focus in on this a little bit better. Come on. There we go. Kind of. You can almost start to see some of the little silks shooting off the edges of the ear there, or the kernels there. Come on, focus. So they're there. We're gonna attempt to count the number of rows around on here. There's no way I'm gonna be able to count length, but we can count rows around. There you can see the kernels. Look at that. Let's see what we got. So you can kind of see those rows of kernels there as I rotate this around. That's actually 2 rows of kernels. They grow in pairs, so there's always an even number. I counted 16 around, 8 rows of 2. So now, one thing that I know about this particular hybrid is that it's a very determinate ear. And what I mean by determinate is that it's going to be the same size ear no matter what. This plant is not going to have 20 around kernels. It's not going to have 12 around kernels. It's going to have 16s. May get some 14s, you may get some 18s, but it's going to have 16s. It's also not going to have 50 kernels long, but it's not going to have 30 kernels long. They're going to be somewhere in the middle. It's going to be the same size ear, whether that's planted at 30,000 plants per acre or 40,000 plants per acre, whether you water it, whether you don't. Now, your kernel depth may change, and there's going to be some differences, but that's why we planted this so thick. We planted this corn at 40,000 or 42,000 plants per acre, and it's to get a lot of those ears, because if they're all going to be the same size anyway, we might as well grow a lot of them as long as the plant can support it, which with the water that we're adding up there, I think that we can. So anyway, I'm sure I've got plenty of content here. That was probably pretty long. If we were to pull these suckers apart, I don't know what we would find for ears, but I'm sure it would be a pretty similar looking plant, the leaves and the nodes and everything, and there's probably a tassel in them. We're not going to go ahead and bother doing that right now, but that's what we got. So there's your thumbnail. Check it out. Pretty cool. Exploded corn. All right. Well, like I said, if you have any questions and comments on that, leave them in the comments section down below. Let me know, and I'll try and answer them at some point. I'm sure that was a lot. So the rest of my day is going to consist of sorting through that pile of signs and check these out, putting up field signs. And so, look, I match. I'm probably not going to film a lot of this. Let me know. Yeah, irrigation, field signs, that's it. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. I don't know what's going on this weekend. I know we're watering corn. That's probably about it. So, yeah, we'll see you next week. Oh. 4th of July weekend. We better go put the flag up. America.